Battaglia, saxstation.com. Not too long ago, I got an iSolo Choice from CLOUDVOCAL, which is a company in Taiwan. Now, the first place that I actually saw this was downstairs at NAMM one year. And Brian Landau of the YouTube channel Brian's Thing was demonstrating it. So I kind of got to see what they were doing a couple years ago. This last year, I saw it again. They went up to the first floor in the NAMM convention. I got to see Brian playing it, and I got to see some other people too. I thought it was a pretty cool concept, very small design, and it seemed to sound pretty good. So not too long after that, I looked into getting one of my own. And in this bigger case is the effects module, the receiver. In the smaller little case, is the mic itself. So if I open this up, the mic has a little card, has some information. This is what the mic actually looks like. So it's very small. And how it attaches is that it has some Velcro on there. You attach this little piece to the bell of your saxophone. So I'll show you how I do that. So you put it right here. You got the Velcro on there, it attaches, and then you adjust the microphone to go into here. So that's what the microphone looks like when it's on the bell of your saxophone. Very light. You charge it through USB. And there's a few settings on here for volume. There's also a power button. The power button doesn't just turn it on though, it also syncs to the receiver. So whenever you turn it on and want to use it with the receiver that comes with it, you hold the power button nearby and then it syncs up with that. If you get the recording device, which is like a little USB dongle, you also sync it up with that when you turn it on. What's pretty cool about the dongle is you can actually connect it to a phone if you have a camera kit adapter. So basically, like say it's an iPhone, you put in the lightning cable, it comes out to the USB. You can charge it with an iPad, you can actually charge it with a phone too, as I found out. So basically you can have a microphone with you that's wireless and you can record video so you can get better sound with your phone. A lot better than you're going to get from the built-in microphone. When you're recording with the dongle though, you can't actually use all the effects. So it is pretty cool. It's going to be useful for a lot of situations, but it's not going to be the same effect that you can have with the transmitter. So the transmitter you have to plug into an outlet and then it looks like this. So there's 4 different effect settings. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, basically like a small room, a hall, a chorus. You can change from D to W, which is dry to wet. You've got gain, so you got a decibel meter that you can switch around. You got master, and you can also mess with the EQ, so the bass and the treble. If you want to, you can plug in another microphone into this and then have that going at the same time. And if you're using the saxophone, you have an output with a cable here. So that's going to be 1/4 inch to XLR. So you plug in the XLR to the soundboard. And with that and the power, you're good to go. You also need to attach the little antenna to get better range. I actually didn't do that the very first time I tried it. And it kind of worked, but it works better with the antenna. When you don't have the antenna on, there's a little rubber protector that you can leave on there. On the other side, there's a button that says near and far. So basically, if you're going to be pretty close to the receiver, you can use the near setting. If you're going to be farther away, you can use the far setting. And on this side, you've got a dial for the line mic that you can adjust if you want another microphone to be working with this at the same time. The first time I used it actually for one of my last videos, the one with St. Thomas. So that's using the recording dongle and using the microphone, so no effects. So this is what that sounds like. And then I also brought it to a rehearsal with the Rudians, which is the reggae band that I'm in out in Salinas, California. So I tried out the different settings, got the impressions of some guys in the band. So like guitar players, for instance. Guitar players tend to use a lot of pedals, a lot of effects, things like that. I figured they knew actually more about that kind of stuff than I did, so I want to hear what their opinions were. So here's a few clips of that. Basically, with them, I was kind of going between settings 2 and 3, and in a few cases, I actually used the chorus. When we're kind of doing some stuff that was dubbed out, I went to number 4, which is the chorus. And that kind of has more delay and more of like an echo. So I used that microphone at rehearsal that day, and I was trying out the effects, kind of getting some different reverbs and different things going on, seeing what the other musicians thought of it. Then later on, I played it at my first show. That was a show with Salson, my salsa band. We played up in San Jose. Our sound guy Leonard was checking it out as I was using it too, and we were setting up, sound checking, all that when I got there that night. So he was interested in seeing how it sounded, and he was actually really impressed because it's very small, and sometimes, I think probably historically especially, like wireless microphones, they allow you to like go in the crowd and do some cool things, but they don't always sound as good as another mic. I mean, pretty much they're not going to sound as good as like a top level mic. But he was actually very impressed with this one. He thought it sounded good, and it gives you the advantages of being able to walk around in the crowd. So for one song, I actually didn't tell the whole band that I was using the mic. So for one song, I was taking a solo, and I just walked out right in front of the stage towards the dancers, and I was playing a little bit. So now you've heard the version that I recorded with the dongle. You've heard a recording from actually just my phone when I was using it at rehearsal with the different settings. And there's a little clip from when I was using it at a show. And when I was using it at the show, I wasn't really using much reverb. It was pretty dry. We basically turned it all the way to the dry because in that style of music, you need to be pretty sharp. You don't really want too much reverb in that kind of setting. So overall, I've been playing around with it. I think I'm going to start using it probably at most rehearsals with the reggae band. And I'm going to be using the reverb there in the different settings and messing with delay and all that stuff. With Salson, the salsa band, I think I like being able to go out in the crowd. That kind of changes the energy level. I think people enjoyed that. It was kind of different. I'll probably use it some more with them. And actually, in terms of charging the device, you use the USB connection for the microphone. I charged it once right after I got it so I could start playing around with it. And the charge lasted for playing the St. Thomas, recording that video, playing a rehearsal, which is maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then playing a show. Basically, you probably want to recharge it before every show, but the battery lasts a pretty good amount of time. And that show we started playing about 10:30 and we got done maybe 1:15, 1:20, and it lasted the whole time. Afterwards, I did need to charge it, but it lasted the entire show, and it had lasted for the rehearsal before and when I was messing around with it at my house. So it's a pretty cool microphone if you're interested in getting the capabilities that you would have with a wireless mic, being able to walk around, being able to get some effects that are come with the device when you get the iSolo Choice. If that sounds like something you're interested in, check out CloudVocal, and they've got a website. You can order through them. They've got different specials sometimes, and I'll put a link down below. Let me know if you have questions about it. I'm going to continue to play with it. I like what I'm seeing so far, and I'm enjoying the product.